All right. Well, now we're going to talk a little bit more about the Fulton corridor and what's happening where we are in the process, what people can expect. There's a vote happening pretty soon, right?
Right. And we've been showing this video to people, hundreds and hundreds of people in office buildings and in living rooms for the past year. You and I have done quite a few of them, Elliot, the mayor.
Yes, we have. We've actually touched 850 people with this video.
Wow,
so,
that's amazing. Let's
see
touch
the
a few
video.
more.
What's the point in saving it?
I have everything I need up north.
No grand plans can improve it.
Revitalized? How many times have I heard that before?
All across America, a change is taking place. Cities that believe in themselves are transforming their downtowns. And in the process, they discover something incredible. Cities like Kalamazoo, Memphis, St. Petersburg, Boise, San Jose, they all believe that to be a great city, you need a great downtown, and that one big idea renewed their cities into thriving business centers and incredible success stories. Now ask yourself, what do you believe in? Do you believe Fresno has the potential to be great? Most of all, do you believe in downtown Fresno? It was 1964. Construction began on the Fulton Mall. 6 months later, it became the nation's second pedestrian mall. Community leaders thought it was just the change Fresno needed to become a thriving city. And for a time, it seemed to be a promise fulfilled. A few years after it opened to foot traffic, the Fulton Mall began its decline. Decades had passed when big stores like Montgomery Ward and JCPenney moved out to shopping centers closer to new neighborhoods. Where did that leave the Fulton Mall?
Fresnans my age remember when Fulton Street operated as a busy thoroughfare with cars and stores and people walking on the sidewalks. Today, sadly, it operates at only 6% of its economic potential.
Some 200 pedestrian malls were built in the 1960s and 70s. Today, more than 170 of them have been removed. Of the 24 malls remaining, only 7 are successful. And they're tied to a major anchor like a university or a hospital campus.
From 1980 onward, most downtown areas were in the throes of the suburban flight, and a lot of suburban shopping malls were being put up.
Times change and things change. And when we look at trends and we look at what works and what doesn't work, I think the answer is pretty obvious, whether it's working or not.
As the 90s progressed, it became pretty clear that the pedestrian mall wasn't working.
So what makes us different? When did we stop caring? If the success of a city is measured by the health of its downtown, then it's time we face the fact that downtown Fresno isn't working.
I think the pedestrian malls across the country, for the most part, have been unsuccessful. And it's time perhaps to give them a new life.
I think, like a lot of other communities in the Midwest and just around the country too, you recognize that the downtown has got to be the heart of your community.
Until we revitalize downtown and make it a destination, Fresno will never live up to its potential.
Old Pasadena is a great example of an area that went through a dramatic revitalization. They were going to demolish everything in Pasadena, in Old Pasadena, and at the last moment decided not to. And that area has now, 25, 30 years later, become the heart of the city.
When you go to another city, the first place you want to go to is its downtown, because that's where you learn what a city is all about. Right now, when somebody comes to Fresno, they don't get a sense of what Fresno means when they come to our downtown.
90% of the pedestrian malls that reintroduce vehicular traffic experience significant improvements in occupancy rates, retail sales, property values, and private sector reinvestment in the downtown area. South Bend, Indiana, 20% increase in retail sales. Kalamazoo, Michigan, every storefront occupied. Louisville, Kentucky, vacancy rate reduced by 30% in the first year.
Fresno has spent years ignoring this problem. Our main street doesn't work. It's affecting our entire city.
I think right now Fresno is lacking in a great city center, and it's been proven that in other big cities around the United States that is crucial in the success of an entire area.
Now we have a plan. All we need is for the community to rally behind us.
We did take some flack. Why are you investing so much money downtown Kalamazoo? Why aren't you investing it in the neighborhoods where we have low-income neighborhoods here in Kalamazoo also? And we just had to explain that it's a balance. We want to keep the whole community healthy. We need to make these investments downtown.
So opening this pedestrian mall to vehicular traffic would change the entire outcome, and it would then change the entire outcome of Fresno.
Now is the time to make a change. Now is the time to stop waiting for the next generation to fix it. Now is the time to say no to a stagnant downtown and yes to a vibrant future. Now is the time.
Something needs to be done to make the Fulton Mall a place where people want to be, not a place that people avoid.
We need a main street. We need that core urban vitality.
We need to start with our inner core and work our way out from there. And I think that everybody in the community should be able to get behind that.
Whenever I ask my friends, come join me downtown at our favorite place, they're like, oh, I hate finding parking. And I'm like, okay, if we could just park right in front.
If they do open the mall to traffic, I'll be ready to build tomorrow.
Visibility, connectedness, and accessibility are the three main things that would definitely get me interested in looking and building on the Fulton Mall.
Think about it this way, without even having a street, we invested so much. If we have the street opened up, then, it will be much, much more significant investments done here in downtown Fresno.
With a revitalized downtown, Fresno has the potential to add over 200 lofts and apartments to the Fulton Mall, helping to create what is already happening in many other cities, an urban lifestyle where people can live, work, and play.
I do love living downtown, and I can't wait for the day for more people to experience living in an urban lifestyle.
There are a lot of elements that go into making a city great.
Families that live here need a place to go that's nearby, that gives them options for shopping and for dining and entertainment.
And it's our job to bring all of that together, make sure that it's in place so that we can move ahead in the right direction.
Downtown should be the financial, historical, and the cultural place of a city.
You can see the potential. It's there.
Our city found the courage to make a change once before, and we can do it again. Now more than ever, we need thriving businesses. We need a unified center. We need a source of pride. We need life to come back to the center of our city. We need to believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe in downtown Fresno.
Downtown Fresno, a great city that needs a great downtown. Now only one question remains. Do you believe?
I believe that great cities have strong economies.
I believe that a vibrant downtown is vital to a strong economy.
I believe that great cities have great downtowns.
I believe that Fresno can be a great city.
I believe that we, the community, have the power to change downtown Fresno.
I believe that the Fulton Mall is the heart of downtown Fresno.
I believe that the Fulton Mall needs to change for Fresno to have a great downtown.
I believe that the Fulton Mall is crucial to a strong economy in Fresno.
I believe that the time to change the Fulton Mall is now.
I believe in downtown Fresno.
Well, thanks for hanging in there with us and watching our video, our I Believe video, made by our local Jeffrey Scott Advertising. I hope you noticed some of those cool shots that were done by a remote control helicopter, so you got to see up close and personal some of those gorgeous downtown buildings. Yeah. So as we were in these living rooms and conference rooms throughout our community, what were the biggest concerns that you heard about not wanting to restore traffic to Fulton?
Well, I think we've all heard some of the same points coming from people as we had these conversations. And I'll tell you, one of them always centers around the art. So what are you going to do about the art? Where's
What
the art
about
going
the
to go?
Yep.
The idea that the whole thing is one work of art and that you can't kind of mess with that at all.
I don't really hear that in the living room so much as from maybe people that are
Maybe some of the
very,
corporate things.
proactive mall advocates.
Yeah. But how do we answer that? All of that put together in one conversation.
The easy answer for me is all of the art is going to stay right in the same part of downtown, right in that Fulton corridor. None of it's leaving. And in fact, a lot of it I think can be elevated literally with new podiums, better lighting, better security, and all that as we refurbish Fulton Street.
That's definitely what I tell people. And it's all going to basically now be maintained. You know, before there was no budget for maintaining the art. So now that's going to be built into the process as we move forward.
And some people, we might get more people to see it, which
Absolutely.
is the ultimate goal, right?
Yeah.
So what about the trees?
The trees. We want a lot of trees. We're worried about shade coverage. It's hot. You know, if you add younger trees, they're not going to have as much of a cover. And people just really want that history. They want to keep what's there.
Right. So in this new plan, my understanding is 80% of the trees stay, 75, 80%. And the priority is for the trees that are giving canopy, shade, cover, so that we don't lose that in the process. And then there will also be some newer, younger trees coming as well.
Yes, and the net difference will actually be a gain in trees.
So we're getting more trees.
Yes, by the time they
process.
add more trees. And they will make sure that they add them a little bit more mature trees so that we don't start with just obviously some sort of twig right amidst all of these other nice big trees. So the trees are covered.
So what do we know about other cities that have added traffic back to their pedestrian mall, their former pedestrian mall?
Well, we've had a lot of time to think about this and do some research. And there have been, over the course of the last few decades, about 170 pedestrian malls. And now there are only about 30 left. And we think that only about 7 of those really count as successful malls. And we know why they're successful now. So either they're next to a college university or a beach or a major tourist attraction. If they're in a small city, less than 100,000 people, if the pedestrian mall itself is a block or less, just kind of a smaller distance, and if it's a transit mall, you know, adding buses and high-speed rail or light rail to the mall.
So we do not fall into any of those successful examples.
Unfortunately, we don't.
And college and university seems to be the big one, right?
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, if you've got 40,000 students walking around and eating and drinking and doing all the things that students do.
With their parents' credit card.
With other money.
Right.
You know, then they want this closed environment.
Yeah, spending all their money, their disposable income on having fun. Right?
Exactly, exactly. So what are the other things that you've heard?
Well, you know, I've heard, so if we put a road through it, what's going to change? And I can tell you, having opened a business there, and I was involved with two of the buildings in downtown before, that it is nearly impossible to give people directions to a business or a building on the Fulton Mall.
Yeah.
You know, if you're in the Tower District and someone invites you to lunch, you can drive down Olive, you can see the restaurant, you find parking, and you walk back. That simple process is interrupted in a pedestrian mall. You have to find some parking around the outside. You have to walk into a place you've never been before to find a place you're not even sure you're headed in the right direction.
Yeah.
And that just wipes out the market for any kind of strong retail or restaurant corridor.
Absolutely. And you can't drop off an elderly relative. You can't bring a lot of stuff with you that you need to drop off before you go to your event.
Like we saw at a bridal shower in Kalamazoo where they were loading the presents in right from the street.
Yep.
That couldn't have happened when they had their pedestrian mall.
And the businesses don't sell large items anymore. We have luggage businesses that have gone out of business because nobody would go there and buy something hefty that they had to walk back to their car.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't even use GPS to get onto a pedestrian mall.
It's logistically difficult.
Yeah, so
where are we now?
We have a council meeting coming up, either the last Thursday in February or the first Thursday in March. That'll be decided shortly. And most likely be 5 o'clock or so.
Yes.
And so we need people to show up. We need people to write letters and emails to council members, letters to the editor, and talk to their friends about this and really put up a good fight for our downtown.
And what we're going to do that day is make it a very fun event. Come out, we're going to give you information, talking points, a t-shirt, so that everybody knows that you're supportive of returning traffic to our downtown core. This is what will make downtown change.
How
This
do
is
the
first
property
step.
owners feel?
The property owners are in favor. The
How much?
businesses are in
Yeah.
favor.
It is not some, it is all.
All,
100%
100%. So stay tuned to our website, downtownfresno.org. We'll give everybody the information about when the council hearing is going to happen, what's going on, new talking points, things of that nature. Downtownfresno.org will keep you up to date.
And this is an important time in history, and I hope that you all participate, watch, and this is something you're going to remember for a long time.
Where were you when the Fulton Mall opened to traffic?
That's right. So, you know, bring your kids down,
Yep.
take a picture now, take a picture a couple years from now, and they will remember it 50 years from now. They'll be saying they were there that day.
Yep. And then you will know exactly that you get downtown.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you get downtown? Do you get downtown? Do you get downtown? Do you get downtown?
The Community Media Access Collaborative would like to thank Wells Fargo for their support in making this program possible. It's because of our contributors and volunteers that CMAC is able to provide quality programming to the community.